So this is my review for the one variable inequalities. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the first problem. It says handrails should be mounted 34 inches minimum and 38 inches maximum above ramps. Which inequality represents the required height? With questions like this, I like to start by writing it down myself, and then I can combine and see what I get. Then I could look at the multiple choice answers. So I know they said 34 minimum, so x has to be greater than 34, greater than or equal to 34. And then maximum is 38, so x must be less than or equal to 38. Right, so I just have two separate inequalities, but I want to combine them. So see, they're combined into one long statement. In order to do that, I need to get the x on one side. So either I'm going to get them both well, I need x in the middle, essentially. So in order to do that, I need to reverse one of these. I notice that all of them, they end in 38. And actually, this is the only one that actually has the choice. It's probably going to be this one, but we're going to see. If I flip this, so if I want to get x on the other side, I need to rewrite it. I need to flip the two values, so 34 and x. And I also have to flip the sign. Oop, did not mean to do that. 34 and x both get flipped. And I also have to flip the sign. And now that we have 34 is less than equal to x, and then I can keep going. We have x is less than or equal to 38, and that ends up being part D anyway. So that's D. So now we have an inequality equation that we need to solve. So let's see. We can treat this just like our regular equations. The only thing we have to keep in mind is that if we divide or multiply by a negative number, we're going to have to flip the sign. So we're going to do a lot of the same steps. So here I like to work with inverse PEMDAS. So remember that's when I'm going to write it here. And keep in mind, parentheses is any grouping. Here we don't have any fractions or anything, or functions or anything like that. But so I'm going to start off. I'm going to see what's going on. Do I have any addition or subtraction? I do, but it's inside of my grouping. I'm going to save my grouping, my parentheses, for last. So I'm going to move on with multiplication and division. So I'm multiplying by 1.5. So the opposite or the inverse is to divide by negative 1.5. Could you distribute? Yes, but you don't have to use inverse PEMDAS. It's just one way to help make things a little more efficient. It's a strategy, not your only way. So I'll be left with negative 4x minus 3 is greater than, I just divide it by a negative number. Remember I warned you about that? So I'm going to have to flip my sign. So I was about to not do that. So let me just go back and get my eraser. Got to be careful with these. This is where inequalities can get a little trickier in equations. So we're going to flip my sign. So less than, and then 1.75 divided by 1.5 is just 5. And then I'm going to, now that I have just one term, I do have a parentheses here, but I removed it because I only have that one group. And now I can keep working. So I'm going to do addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So negative 4 is less than 8, 4x, I'm sorry. And then I divide by negative 4. So here we're dividing by a negative number one more time, a lot of flipping. You have to remember to flip that sign. So that will give me x is greater than, looks like negative 2. So here I will put x is greater than negative 2 in my answer, for my answer. So our next question, Wyatt wants to spend no more than $25 at the grocery store. So that seems important. It says no more than. He bought a pizza for $7.55 and a cake for $11, including taxes. Choose an inequality that can be used to find how much money he can still spend. So we know he spent $7.55 plus 11. O2, it includes the tax already. Okay, that's great. Plus some amount of money, X. And he wants it to be no more than 25. It has to be less than or equal to 25. Not sure why this keeps moving on me. So less than or equal to, bear with me, 25. I think I'm close to the edge, that's why. So let's see. What models that? So we have 7.5 plus 11.02 plus x is less than or equal to 25. That's exactly what I wrote. So this is the one. Like I said, I like to write it out on my own first and then see which solution matches what I already have. And here it says choose the inequality that shows the solutions to the following inequality, or the graph, I'm sorry. First, we're going to have to get n by itself. We're going to have to simplify that, and then we'll better be able to see which one may make sense. So let's see. I'm going to combine like terms. So we're going to use the same strategies that we use with equations. So I have two n terms. So let me see. 7n minus 5n gives me minus 12n gives me negative 5n plus 11 is less than or equal to 20. Then I still need to get n by itself. So to do that, I need to get rid of the 11. So I'm going to subtract 11, right? Inverse of plus 11 is subtract 11. So that gives me negative 5n is less than or equal to, let's see, it looks like it's 9. And then I divide both sides by negative 5. So negative 5 divide by negative 5. That means I have to swap the signs too. I'm dividing by a negative number. So n is greater than or equal to negative 9 over 5. Or if I want to see, because I have integers here, it's going to be negative 1 and 4/5, right? It's close to negative 2. So I'm going to come and see what's pretty close to negative 2. The arrow is going to point, whenever the n is on the left-hand side, the arrow is going to point in the same direction as the inequality, and you're going to shade it in because it's less than or equal to. So I know it's solid because of this, the equal. It's going to be pointing to the right, and it's going to be a little less than negative 2. And it looks like A is the only one that does it, right? So this is solid and to the right. So my answer here would be A.